Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. INEC insists no going back on its timeline for the completion of the governorship election in River State. Meet with stakeholders in Pt.2, the state capital. The Department of State Services denies receiving instruction to work against the completion of the electoral process in Rivers. Troops of the multinational Joint Task Force and Nigerian forces continue their onslaught against Boko Haram in the Lake Chad area, killed 5 insurgents in Borno State. And 2 people killed as thousands of Palestinians demonstrate in Gaza on the boundary with Israel. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS devices from the respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and please follow the instructions. Continuing with security, the recent attack on Chibok and other communities in southern Borno State is still a concern for security operatives, and the General Officer commanding the 7th Division, Brigadier General Abdul Malik Biu, has described it as the last kicks of a dying horse. Now, the GOC is confident that the high morale of troops reposes confidence in everyone that the ongoing fight against insurgency is being tackled head-on. The general, however, dismisses reports that the insurgents overran Maringa and Gwatawawa villages of View and Chibok local government areas, which occurred a day apart. Now, the villages, which are situated along fringes of the Sambisa forest, were thrown into panic as the insurgents in each of the attacks came in large numbers, shooting sporadically and also burning houses.
To degrade the remnants of the Boko Haram, and we are on the trail of them. So on the whole, it is something that makes everybody happy. The troop himself fighting to see results, for positive result. It is something that also motivates them. And the Chief of Army Staff is always happy, to record such a feat. So that tour honestly brought out how committed, how dogged our fighting troops are, and we will continue to that. We are doing that with pride and honor. The few of them that are marauding. But good thing is also because we are following them, smoking them in their various enclaves, telling them they have no hiding place. Yes, they will come and look for soft target within the theater. And but the most important thing is that wherever they are, which wherever they have gone to, we have matched them, strength to strength, force to force, and we have continued to check them out of those enclaves, and that we will continue to do that. We are up at looking at wherever they are, following them where they are. We are quite in a hurry to finish up the business.
The Northern Youth Council of Nigeria is asking the commander of Operation Delta Safe to share his success secrets with his colleagues in the northern part of the country, as the body believes Operation Delta Safe has achieved tremendous success in the fight against pipeline vandalism and militancy. Operation Delta Safe is the joint task force in the Niger Delta responsible for curbing pipeline vandalism as well as militancy in the region. Our correspondent Dobra Timewood reports.
Few years ago, the mention of the Niger Delta area of the country conjures thoughts of pipeline vandalism, militancy, and high level of insecurity. The creation of the Joint Task Force is just one out of the different methods employed by the federal government to fight the insecurity situation. Today, there's increased security of lives and property in the Niger Delta, and reports of pipeline vandalism is no longer a regular feature. The members of the Northern Youth Council of Nigeria visited the commander of the Operation Delta Safe at the JTF headquarters in Bayelsa State to know more.
The Niger Delta region has been a region that expatriates have always been afraid of. But today, expatriates can go on with their activities across the oil installations or oil facilities without fear of kidnapping. So we want you to share information that the way people have been able to work as a team to bring an end to insecurity in the Delta area, people should share with those in the northern part of Nigeria to also bring an end to the present insecurity challenges that is bedeviling the northern part of the country.
The commander of Operation Delta Safe speaks on the positive impact the activities of the JTF has had.
We shall, by the grace of Almighty Allah, continue to do the best we can within the mandate of Operation Delta Safe, which is essentially to protect oil and gas infrastructure, deter and prevent militancy, crude oil theft, sea robbery, and any other forms of criminality within our joint operation area, which will impact negatively on the economy of this nation.
Report says the commander of the Operation Delta Safe has given plenty of impetus to joint operation of the military and paramilitary components of the Operation Delta Safe, and also synergize the efforts of other security agencies not within the Operation Delta Safe to achieve maximum operational efficiency, efforts that should be replicated. Dobra Timiwood, Channels Television News.
Staying with security matters, the Nasarawa State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps have arrested 6 persons for allegedly impersonating its commandant and duping unsuspecting victims in the guise of forced recruitment. The 6-man syndicate reportedly collected millions of naira from many job seekers in the process. The commandant, Mahmoud Fari, while parading the suspects at the Corps headquarters in Lafia, disclosed that the suspects will soon be charged to court.
Unemployment rate in Nigeria increased from 22.70% in the second quarter of 2018 to 23.10% in the third quarter. This high rate has led many unemployed youth in the quest of job seeking into being victims of recruitment scams. The commonest pattern of recruitment scam usually occurs when a fraudster poses as an employer and offers attractive employment opportunities, which requires the job seeker to pay some money in advance. In most cases, after the payment of huge sums, the fake employer becomes inaccessible. This menace is a recurring decimal which has robbed many Nigerians of their earnings. In Nasarawa State, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has apprehended a suspected 6-man recruitment scam syndicate for impersonating its commandant and duping over 100 people.
One of them was parading himself as the commandant of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nasarawa State Command. I don't know when he became MM Fari. And the worst part of it, they are collecting money from individuals with the name of giving them appointments. The recruitment is going on in Nasarawa State.
The commandant reveals that they charge monies according to the capacity of their victims and also discloses other ways they operate.
If you are well doing, they will ask 500,000, 400,000, 300,000, depending on what they can think they will get from you. And to surprise you, they have Igbo among them. If you are an Igbo man, he will speak Igbo to you to convince you. They have Yoruba. If you are a Yoruba man, they will speak Yoruba to convince you. They have Fulani. If you are a Fulani man, they will speak Fulani to convince you. They have Hausa man.
Alleged leader of the gang, Daniel Eze, admits to have been lured once by a said barrister who is at large, while another suspect, identified as Tejani, insists he's an international businessman.
I'm not parading myself as any state commandant. but I was lured into, somebody used me to answer as a commandant of Nasarawa, in civil defense, and that was once.
As the hardship prompted by unemployment continues to bite Nigerians, the plight of unemployed youth is worsened by the increasing rate of recruitment scams. However, apprehension of perpetrators will go a long way in preventing a number of gullible unemployed youth from falling in the nest of fraudsters. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
To education. A recent comment by the Minister of Education, Adama Adamu, that parents who refuse to send their children to school would be prosecuted and sent to jail if convicted has been generating various reactions. While some people see this as a step in the right direction, many others think the government is putting the cart before the horse. Our correspondent Yomi Otaigwe has more.
Yes, it is made a crime until we start jailing parents who refuse to send their children to school.
This statement by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, is on the back of the staggering number of out-of-school children in Nigeria, which was put at 10.5 million in 2013 by UNICEF and believed to have risen to 13.2 million. Indeed, holding parents accountable for the education of their children is entrenched in the Child Rights Act. But with only 23 out of 36 states domesticating this act, there's uncertainty in its full implementation.
The provisions of this Child Rights Act concerning educating the child just says that the right of the child to basic universal primary education is guaranteed. If the government is even going to adopt or implement the provisions of the law, or going to melt out punitive measures to parents for refusal to send them to school, especially in the north, under which provision of the law, because in this state, the laws are not domesticated.
A lecturer and associate professor at the University of Lagos, Dr. Adelaja Odukoya, believes that the federal government's plan may have been born out of the need to stem the tide and reduce the number of out-of-school children. But there's a fundamental question.
If you look much more critically, you discover that the statement is misdirected. The first question to ask is, why are people not going to school? Why are parents not interested in putting their children to school?
We take this question to the streets.
Why most parents don't send their children to school? It's because of the school fee.
Go around public schools in this city where we are now. You will discover where children, pupils are taking lessons under 3 shades.
A country where there are no jobs, where there's poverty everywhere, expect people to take their children to school. Even the so-called government schools, they still need money for stuff like that. So it kind of works on both sides. The government needs to do their part, then the parents will do their own part.
This respondent has an idea on one of the ways parents can do their part.
All the children are supposed to go to school. So if you don't have the means of sending the children to the school, it means you don't need them. So you don't bother to have a child there. But that's my belief.
9 years of formal education, which includes 6 years at the primary level and 3 years at junior secondary school, is free and compulsory under the Universal Basic Education Act 2004. But how free is basic education in Nigeria?
A child will come to school, either the headmistress or proprietor or headmaster will say, headmaster will say, levy 1,000, 2,000, whatever. And most parents don't have this amount to pay.
Aside from economic barriers and inadequate infrastructure, social cultural norms and practices also discourage attendance in formal education, especially for girls. Many have described the challenges facing education in Nigeria as huge. How can the country's education system get a new lease of life?
Criminalizing those people children not going to school would not necessarily solve the problem. Resocialization, reorientation, and making school attractive, and making sure that those who have gone to school are in the right place where they should be within the social strata.
Budget, they're supposed to allocate up to 16% of the budget to education. How much? 5%. What would that do for us? There should be that budget that will be enough for schools to run.
It's not clear when or if federal government's plan to prosecute parents who do not send their children to school will transform into action. But what many have agreed is clearly and urgently needed is the overhauling of Nigeria's education system. From Lagos, Yomi Otaigbe, Channels Television News.
When the News at 10 returns, we'll take a closer look at the issue of out-of-school children with our guests from Maiduguri. Plus, the former Minister of National Planning, Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, challenges government to decentralize National Identity Management Agency. That's on Business News. Please join us again.